them days, 2025. I mentioned this in another review fairly recently, and I had in mind plan to review it at some point after seeing it in the cinema quite a few weeks ago now. Um, but I haven't got around to it yet, so why not today? It stars Keke Palmer and SZA, and I didn't really know Keke, anything about her apart from I think she is an actress and singer, but SZA, Solana Imani Rowe, she is quite a well-known singer. She's been in the charts a lot, and so I know of probably from Doja Cat and her sang "Kiss Me More" about 2001, and then there was Kill Bill, which I loved as a song. I mean, that lingers as a tune. I mean, that whole thing about Kill Bill volumes 1 and 2 back in 2003 and 4, the Tarantino films, this song is a sort of response, revenge style thing. Oh, something to explain probably if I review Kill Bill, I guess, at some point in the future. But um, so I kind of like SZA, and so it's interesting to see her starring as an actress, um, and her acting's all right. So both of them, I think, they act fairly well. And they star as two young women who are down on their uppers. They're broke, and their landlord comes around and demands their rent, which is something like $1,500 for the month. I guess that's similar to what London rent is. It feels a lot, but it probably isn't these days. Nothing is much. I mean, Los Angeles is, from what I gather, pretty expensive city. I mean, I know Los Angeles quite well, having had friends who live there, having stayed there quite a lot. Now the area, oh gosh, what's it called? The area, it's Baldwin Village. Now, I'd not really heard of that, but Baldwin Hills, but that area, I remember from 2017, my last trip to LA when I was on the Expo line, and um, I got into some difficulty in that neighborhood, and I'll explain about that some future vlog, no doubt. But I can see that if it's perhaps a slightly troublesome neighborhood, I don't know. It's really hard to say because I don't know those sort of um, LA looks. Some bits of LA look beautiful, all the palm trees, and then it turns out the deprived areas. I think it's like parts of London. They might look leafy, but you don't really know exactly what they're like in terms of the crime rate. I mean, the ideal thing is always to be vigilant wherever you go if you're in an unfamiliar city. Um, and these two young women, they don't really experience crime, but they do run into gang members. I think they're gang members. King Rolo, something like that. I don't know. Um, the way the plot goes, there's so much involved in it, and since these two characters, they really need their rent money. Alisa, played by SZA, she's, got a boyfriend who I think was supposed to pay the rent, and he's done a runner with the money, so it wasn't really their fault anyway. Well, it probably was if they trusted him and he's not trustworthy. I don't know. There's a lot of complications, but they're desperate to get money, otherwise they are going to be thrown out. And I've seen situations in London where people having just thrown out all their possessions. Once I remember on Pentonville Road, just seeing this family with all their stuff on the pavement. It's just horrendous to think, you know, homelessness can start just like that, not being able to pay the rent. Anyone can um, become unhoused quite quickly for one of numerous reasons. And I suppose it's even more so now with this sort of cost of living crisis. It's been such a long time. Um, and with the advent of more and more AI and fewer jobs and fewer potential income streams, it's quite frightening. It's going to affect a lot of people. But this is a light-hearted touch to those type of circumstances because um, the they want to get out of this situation, and they've got a matter of hours. It's a real just-in-time scenario, and they go on various money-making ventures. Some of them ugh, I find difficult, but I'll get into that. But the pressure of time always drives stories like this and help make them exciting, but they can also make them overwhelming as well. And they go to a payday loan, and the administrator who deals with them has a lot of contempt because their credit score's so low. And those sort of situations, they don't strike me as realistic. But of course, that's the whole thing with humor, takes things to the edge. Um, but there's someone outside the payday loan company imploring on them not to take out a loan, the anti-capitalist drive. I mean, I don't know if he's unhoused or something or in difficulty because of a payday loan, but he's trying that sort of situation. Well, he's very keen, very resentful of the company, and very keen that no one else falls into the same trap. So good on him. But the scorn of that admin person, wow, that was something else. But there's like scenes like um, a job interview and fight scenes and rescuing trainers that have been draped, expensive trains, drapes over electric power lines or telegraph lines. But I think they're power lines because there's this risk of getting electrocuted and everyone's watching. And so there's a lot of drama all the way through this film. Um, and Yeah, I've seen trainers in London. I don't know if they're valuable, but I've never seen anyone try to climb up to get them. Um, but the worst scene for me was the blood donation scene, and that's what I mentioned when I alluded to this story previously, because I've almost felt like passing out. I was dizzy last time I went to give blood, and I have a strong squeamishness streak running through me, so it's fairly hard to give blood in the first place, and I just have to take my mind off it. But when this scene appears in this film, and in California, in Los Angeles, they're offered money, something like $70 for every pint of blood, or was it for 70 milliliters like the UK? But whatever the unit is, they're offered that for giving blood. And I think giving more blood will get them more money, and of course, this really because, uh, the whole thing, the power suggestion with meat and blood is just terrible. I mean, if someone says I look pale, I do look pale, I guess, but even more pale than I look naturally, that's enough to make me start to feel queasy or dizzy, and I think, "Oh, shoot, am I actually have I got enough blood going around my veins?" And blood's a really strange thing, and you need it just to stay alive, obviously, and I read this story back in February that I nearly passed out reading that. It was like trigger warning stuff, and it was about, well, let's call it content warning now. It's very similar to rules of attraction as well, where I nearly passed out because anything involving exsanguination really does get to the wrong side of my mind. It's really yuck, and I can feel very ill. I can imagine it too strongly, and it's even quite difficult talking about it right now. But in terms of rules of attraction, I've managed to desensitize myself by watching it. I've watched that film about 70 times, and um, I'm sort of inured, slightly jaded, not totally jaded, but I mean, it's horrific, it's awful. But I've managed to get over the shock value of that, seeing the bathroom scene in that film. But when there's something new, like this blood donor center session, and there's like a scuffle and there's mistakes and panic and um, inexperienced nurse or medic doing it, doing the extracting the blood. Oh no, I really, really, I was feeling hot. I was feeling I can't handle this. And when I gave blood, which I last did in May, I had to try not to think about it. So, if you give blood or if you're squeamish, it might not be such a good idea to see this film if you have a similar strong power of suggestion connection that I have. So it's just that feeling. It really doesn't suit me. Um, I've been curious about seeing that film again, and yet that is a barrier to seeing it again. And yeah, I'm thinking if I did see it again, maybe I could learn to desensitize. I just think maybe the same if I see enough of horror films or anything that slasher films, um, I can gradually um, get used to it. I have to some extent. My heart sinks often when I see films that say injury detail or stuff like that. But if I see them and I can get into my mind that this is not real, it's even worse when it is a documentary and it's real life footage of war injuries, stuff like that. And I've seen that as well. Um, it's difficult. I don't know what I can do. I just know where my limits are, and I know I've kind of inherited that because family members of mine feel it's stronger. So um, it's just there as part of me, and I would like to confront it and get over it. But like a lot of things, the fact it's there is difficult. So um, I won't. I probably won't. But so there's that scene. Very difficult. Um, there's there's other stuff. I mean, there's some stuff that there's extra bonkers stuff towards the end. The there's art, sales stuff, there's fire brigade, there's tipping off possible wrongdoers or some sort of thing, sort of like Booksmart and Cat Person, films like that. I've got sort of I see some similarity to other films, and yet in other ways it is unique in its own style. And there's quite a lot I like about this film. So overall, it's not bad for humour, apart from the um, being downmarked for this squirty stuff, the donation scene. Um, so, and there's a little bit in the trailer. So if you want to see just a little bit of it, snapshot, then you'll get that idea from the trailer. But obviously, it's played out a lot more in the film. So my score is going to be 7.5 out of 10, which is a pretty good film considering it's a bit of slapstick humor. It's a bit, mm, but it's all right. It has enough humor to keep it going. I mean, the whole thing with the payday loan, that really, I probably like that the best. And then there's all the sort of madcap stuff and the scenes I didn't particularly like. But um, yeah, I thought the acting was fine, pretty good, and it was just fairly decent, reasonable comedy. I'd love to know what you think. So um, please let me know in the comments. Have hope. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Uh, please like if you like this review. Thanks for subscribing. Please hit the notification button, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.